trust me, from 50 countries, people are logging in for this International Hospitality Day, which is now becoming quite a phenomenon across the world. Ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the most powerful gatherings of people in the hospitality industry around the world, and we're just waiting for Mr. Ron Scott to join in.
Yes.
Just bear with us for a moment.
Coming.
Mr. Ron Scott, if you've joined in, if you could unmute yourself and identify, and we are good to go.
Thank you.
Hi, Chris.
How are you doing? Good to see you, Brian.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, very good.
You've lost a bit of weight here, looking good, huh?
Hello, everybody. This is Chef Ali from India.
Hey, Ali, how you doing?
Hey, boss.
Very good, Chef Chris. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Hi,
Out
Chris.
on my bike,
This
Ali.
is Andy.
Hey, Andy, you're looking well, man.
Hey.
You had me worried.
Beard, Andy, nice beard.
Thank you.
You're copying Chris now, aren't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
Getting
what I
my-
thought.
My
Looking
beard's
like Chris-
gone.
Lockdown beard, the lockdown beard.
Looking like Chris's brother.
Yeah.
Look at you. Hi, Chef
Yes.
Ali.
Galvin's just
Hi.
saving money on razors.
Yeah.
Hi, Stuart.
Yeah.
How are you feeling, Andy? You're good?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm back 100%. Thanks.
Great.
Yeah.
Is that
Hi,
me?
John.
Is that me live now? Yes.
Yeah.
Hi,
Yes.
Ron.
Oh,
Ron.
Thank you.
Very much alive, Ron.
Technology is a marvelous thing.
Yeah.
Right, there's
Oh.
Mr. Ron Scott. Over to you, our Secretary General for International Hospitality Council, Mr. Ronald Scott. Welcome. Over to you.
Can't hear you, Ron.
You need
I
to
can hear
unmute
you,
yourself, Rob.
Foskett.
There we go.
Can't hear you, Ron.
Can you not hear me?
Now
No,
I can.
can now.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. You can hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Right. Well, I'll start again. Sorry. Right. Good morning, afternoon, evening, everybody. That should cover everybody, no matter where you are in the world at the moment. On behalf of the IHC and its foundation, warmest greetings to you all, and also like to wish you a very happy International Hospitality Day. The one reason we're all here this afternoon. These are very unusual times in which we are living, unfortunately. Certainly, I've never experienced anything like this in my time. This virus, it's not of our making, and it's really nothing that we can control or take action over. However, we have to live with it. We have to live through it. We have to plan and look at how we're going to come out of this and how we're going to, as an industry, come out of this strong and with a good future, and particularly a good future for all our young people who are either in the industry or training for the industry or planning to come into the industry in the future. Our hospitality industry has taken a lot of hits in history over the past many decades. Things like global economic downturns, the SARS epidemic, the Gulf War had a major impact around the world on the hospitality industry. But one thing has happened in all of these, that after each and every one of them, our industry has shown how resilient it is. It is perhaps one of the most resilient industries in the world. And that's something we have to keep remembering. They've come out stronger and better. And I know that we can do that again. We don't know exactly when we're going to come out or how we're going to come out or how it's going to be phased, but it may vary from one country to another. But I'm sure all of us will pull together on this. And really, just to set the scene for the rest of this afternoon, I've got 3 key words, which I think and hope you'll all share with us, and will maybe come through in what we hear from the others who are going to be joining and speaking this afternoon. And these 3 words are perseverance, resilience, and positivity. That last one is most important. We have to be positive. We will get through this. Thank you. I'll hand you back now to our compere, Abdullah.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ron Scott. And moving over, ladies and gentlemen, to the CEO of International Hospitality Council, the man who dreamed about International Hospitality Day along with Professor David Foskett, the man who dreamed about Young Chef Olympiad, a dreamer and a doer with a tagline, #DareToDo. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Suborno Bose.
Hello, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. It's such a pleasure to be back on this absolutely momentous occasion, the International Hospitality Day, as we are celebrating under difficult situation, but the positivity. Yes, Ron, thank you, Ron, for the positivity. I think positivity is not missing. So welcome all of you, all our friends from all over the world. I think over 60 countries, and a lot of guys are still joining. I could still see about 157 people already there, and more are joining. And I think it's a great occasion, a great welcome to all of you. So I'd just like to say that these are difficult times, but then we have to move on with our positivity, with our goal of build back better. We have to build our industry so that you can be back again and in a better format, possibly more robust process, more robust systems, and possibly a lot of innovation, a lot of what we call nowadays new normal. And I'm sure that, like everything in the world, things have to change. But then one thing that will remain constant is hospitality. The spirit of hospitality is what is one single element that binds all of us here, all of us in the entire hospitality industry. It's the spirit of hospitality. We live for it, we die for it. And the spirit of hospitality is always something that's in our DNA. As our chairman, David Foskett, always say that to be human is to be hospitable. So I think we really follow that in the letter and the spirit. And our Young Chef Olympiad is something which is always a sunrise at the end of the tunnel. We all look forward for the next one. And in the tough times, in the dark days, we look forward for the next Young Chef Olympiad, because that's the event that brings all of us, the entire 55, 60 countries together, and we celebrate hospitality. Because the motive of the International Hospitality Day, when we started 4 years back, was to promote hospitality, celebrate hospitality, and educate hospitality. We all know that as hospitality workers, as hospitality professionals, every day is a celebration for us. Every day, why? Every moment is a celebration. But still, we needed a day when we can put a pat on our back and say, well done, guys. So that's the day, is today, 24th of April. And this day is so important this year under the circumstances, under the unprecedented events that are happening, the pandemic, and the world is all over the place. And we are possibly one of the worst hit. But again, we are absolutely resilient. Ron said the same thing. We are one of the most resilient industry that the world has seen. And I think that I can see a lot of innovation. I could see a lot of positive energy. I could see a lot of leadership. And I could see that it can only go better. Maybe these are difficult times. It will take some time, maybe 6 months, 8 months, 1 year. But I'm sure that hospitality will emerge stronger than ever before. And this is the test of the time. This is the time when they say that tough times don't last, tough people do. This is a time which we need to embrace, and we need to fight, and we need to go forward and survive and succeed, because this is something which is in our blood, in our DNA. Hospitality rocks all over the world, folks. Hospitality is one thing that binds us together, folks. And hospitality is what we are all about, guys. We are all the creature of hospitality. And as I always say, we live and die for hospitality. So let's celebrate to this evening as we celebrate the 4th International Hospitality Day, and with some of the biggest guys who all over the world joining in. So thank you very much for joining in. Thank you all the speakers. A very special thank to Mr. Puneet Chhatwal, the Managing Director, CEO of the Taj Group of Hotel, ISCL, who has been very kind to have joined us and to speak about the occasion. And thank you, everybody. It's so great to see all of you. It's absolutely amazing to see all of you. I can't say more. It's going to be one hell of evening for all of us. So welcome to the show, and let's celebrate hospitality. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Right, that was Dr. Bose, ladies and gentlemen, talking about International Hospitality Day. Moving over to the legendary Professor David Foskett, who's the chairman of IHC. He's an MBE, member of British Empire. World famous practical cookery is sold across the world, and he has sold books in about 140 countries. The books are translated in Russian, Spanish, and Welsh. And just for all of you to share that today, initially in the world, culinary was actually a diploma and not a degree. Thanks to him, in the late 70s and early 80s, he drove this change where he was the one who made sure that culinary changes from diploma to degree. And that is the reason why today students all over the world are able to take a degree course in culinary. And thank you to Professor Foskett. Over to you, sir.
Well, good afternoon, everybody from West London. Good evening to India and everybody from different parts of the world. It's wonderful to see you all. What a fantastic, distinguished gathering we have. I think a lot has been said about hospitality, a way we're going to come out of this, and we're going to come out of this differently. There's no doubt about it. But positively, we've come through many difficult times before, and I'm sure in the years and years to come, there will be difficult times again. But the word was resilient. We will come through this, and we have to repeat this to the young people who, some of them are getting quite down in that, the young people, because they don't know where the future is. But we know where the future is because we've seen it before. And it will be different. No matter how glorious the past was, it mustn't get in the way of the future. And we can build that future. And there are some real positive things. You know, the human spirit can really help us all. For example, the virus may separate us, but the human spirit brings us together. And the human spirit will see us through this difficult time and also after lockdown. And we know it's going to be different. We know we have to plan our businesses differently. We have to be strategic in the way we plan. But there is a light at the end of the tunnel. There's no doubt about it, because I tell you for one thing, that the human beings love to travel. They have an insatiable appetite for traveling the world. So the hotels will bounce back. The restaurants will bounce back. Slightly differently, but they will. Normality will be slightly different. But society needs hospitality. To be human is to be hospitable. And governments need us. They need us more than ever, because we generate the tax. We generate the tax that's going to pay for all this lockdown in the future. And we've been paying this for a long time. So we've got to bounce back. Economically, we've got to bounce back, and we will bounce back, perhaps differently, because we're a major tax generator. And it will be different. But, you know, hospitality has some great minds, some wonderful people in hospitality that have created the world of hospitality as it is today, and it will be in the future. And we have to be that positive. But we have to say to young people, the future's bright. the future is hospitality. It's their future, and we have to build on that. And I'm very, very confident that, you know, this time next year, the landscape will be different. How it will be, I don't know, but it will be different. But in 2 or 3 years' time, we will look back on this and say, we got through it, and we'll say, well done to everyone. So thank you very much for participating this afternoon, this evening. It's great to see you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Foskett, for sharing the lovely words and thoughts that you've shared with us. And moving over to the MD and CEO of Taj Hotels, Mr. Puneet Chhatwal, with 3 decades of leadership experience from all over the world, including Europe and North America. He's now leading Taj Hotels, and he will be today talking about the economy resets, the future skills, education, and the workforce. Absolute honor to welcome you, Mr. Chhatwal. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Dr. Bose. Thank you for the invite. I think Ron did set the stage quite nicely using the 3 words, which is perseverance, resilience, and positivity. And Dr. Bose talked about the dare to do. That's what he stands for. And what David mentioned about we'll be back no matter how next year and what it will look like in the new normal, but we will be back. So I think that's the spirit. Would want to word it a bit differently. I would say, you know, resilience will help the survival of the industry. I went to different business schools. I learned a lot, but I did not know how to survive with 0 revenue. You know, -10, -20, even -30, -40. You know, we have seen it especially in Europe after the Lehman crisis. But what we have not seen is, like, you know, hotels completely shut down, and not everywhere there is a subsidy to pay for the wages or for the cost, the fixed cost that you have on a daily basis. So I think resilience will help us to survive, and perseverance will help us to revive the industry. I think this never ever give up attitude that our industry has will help us to revive the industry in the long term. And definitely the positivity that we all exude will help us to make it an industry that thrives. So for me, it's about survival, revival, and thrival in the long run. And I see no doubt of that happening, especially I'm very blessed to be a part of a group that is called the Tata Group and has 150 plus years of legacy. And the brand that I represent is the oldest operating company of this group with 116 years of legacy. And for a lot of you, I think in order to get through this crisis, the culture is important. And our culture is built on the values that we have, which is embodied in these 3 letters, where T stands for trust, A for awareness, and J for joy. So very much the same. So joy or positivity, trust or resilience and perseverance, and awareness of what is happening around us, and this being a part of our culture. I definitely believe whether it takes 6 months to build on Dr. Bose's sentence or 8 months, 1 year, we are here to stay for the next 100 years. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Puneet Chhatwal, for the message that you have given to us. And moving over to Padma Shri Chef Sanjeev Kapoor. Chef has made culinary, division as the most desired profession today. All thanks to him. And today he'll be talking about hospitality, which is hospitality build back better. Over to you, Chef Kapoor.
Thank you, Abdullah. Thank you very much for kind words. Thank you, Dr. Bose. Everyone, Dr. Bose has arranged such a beautiful thing in such times, and Professor Foskett, thank you for making IHC a reality. And I think all of you who have spoken before me, and especially my friend Puneet, I think these are very assuring words that are there for the whole industry. And when people like yourselves talk like this, I think it means a lot. I think we all know that nothing is permanent, whether it's good or bad. There is no permanence that's there. So, which is a good thing. So the only way that we have is up, and that's very reassuring, because what you can see is at the horizon a great sunrise that's going to happen. And in such times when you know that the only way is a good way, and if we believe, and hospitality as the only human way is to live hospitably. I think in hospitality, one thing over the years that I have learned is, and which I'm seeing hospitality industry today is at the forefront of compassion. And I think when we are there for people, and that's what we have done all our lives, people in turn to you and they let you survive. They help you. I was talking to a friend in Washington, D.C. last night, and he said that we have not seen this kind of support ever in our lives, because of, I think, what we have done over the years. It is payback time for us. People are paying back to us. I think if we continue with the belief that the only way we know is to give, and that giving is not only to the guests that we have, to our vendors, to our suppliers, to our employees, to everyone. If we keep on giving, if we keep on giving unconditionally, if we keep on being more compassionate, I think in this circle of life, what will come back to us, what we will be able to build as an industry, which is rock solid. These are turbulent times, but turbulence sets in. And once that turbulence sets in, the sailing would be something which would be smoother than ever, is my wish, hope, and prayer. And that, with that prayer, I think I would urge all of us to make sure that while we look at suffering around, let's look at the hope that is built by arranging in these troubled times, where all of us are together, some very well, nicely in their suits, in chef's uniforms and ties and everything. I think that's the spirit of hospitality. And Dr. Bose and the team, thank you for arranging this. And with this prayer that even this shall pass sooner than later, all the very best.
Thank you so very much, Chef Sanjeev Kapoor, for sharing your lovely thoughts. It's always refreshing to listen to you. And moving over now to the Hall of Fame Award, ladies and gentlemen. In the year 2018, the legendary Mr. Ratan Tata was honored with the Hall of Fame Award. In the year 2019, Padma Shri Chef Sanjeev Kapoor was honored with the Hall of Fame Award. And in 2020, let's watch this special video to see who gets the same. And Professor David Foskett will be coming and announcing the details. Bear with me for a second. Let's have a look at this video.
In Raymond's Oxford education, 3 apprentices waiting chefs will make dish. Here's a clue, your brain. French chef. Which is the star, the chef, or cook chef. Chef Patron.
All right, may I call upon Professor David Foskett to please kindly do the honors. Over to you, Professor Foskett. Professor Foskett, are you there? All right, some technical difficulty at Professor Foskett's end. Just bear with me for a second. I guess he's just logged out because of technical difficulties. Professor Foskett, are you there? Well, as they say, this is the new normal. This sometimes do happen. That's technology, and it always fails at the right time, apparently. And we were just waiting for Professor Foskett, and well, we can't find him in the chat.
Abdullah, I can carry on.
Okay. All right. So we will come back once Professor David Foskett comes in, and we'll do the felicitations. Moving over, we would like to call upon Michelin star chef Chris Galvin. With 30 years of culinary experience, he is an encyclopedia. Owns the famous Galvin restaurant along with his brother Jeff, and owns about 10 French restaurants. He will be talking about today on hospitality, build back better. Chef Chris, over to you.
Hi, guys. Great to see everybody. Wishing everyone a happy International Hospitality Day. Good to see everybody as well. Just doesn't seem possible that less than 3 months ago, we were all together, the global hospitality shining through, meeting old friends and meeting some new friends and building relationships, hopefully forever. How will Galvin's in particular build back better? Well, right now we're looking at gathering intelligence. This is the most important thing for us. So we're getting lots of intel back from Hong Kong, and unfortunately it's agreeing with a lot of figures that we're looking at. You know, we're looking at maybe a return to 40% business, 50 if we're lucky. But I think, you know, in these times where we've got to keep running plans all the time, we need to get some more information back. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Europe does, Germany, Spain, Italy, and much nearer to us, our friends across the water in France, where they have a much, very intense hospitality culture. What we're going to look to do, and it's a theme of this meeting today, is having a collaboration between us, talking to friends and looking at best practice. So one thing we're going to do is crunch the numbers. And I think we need a high degree of honesty there, you know, looking at break-even points. Is it time to stop? You can always start again, and I don't think we should be afraid of that. Right now in England, we're thinking there's going to be 40% of businesses are going to come to an end. So we need this high degree of positivity in sometimes not such a bad thing. Sometimes we need to start again. Is it time to change concept? You know, there's so many things we've wanted to do in the past, so many things we've aspired to. So we need to challenge ourselves, and maybe we do need to change the concept. And it's a good time to do that. We need to create new budgets to fit this new world that we're going to go into. And make sure that all our key staff know what these budgets mean. You know, they're pretty radical what we're looking at the moment. New opening hours, new staff working hours. You know, I'm really happy with that because I've always felt that chefs work too damn long and too hard. And this is our chance to change hours. You know, we didn't think it was going to come along, but it needed something like this to do it. Smaller offer, smaller wine lists, smaller menus, but they change more often. And already we're running this and we're working with farmers much more closely. So this heralds back to the theme of sustainability and ethical working. Lots of our teams are working from home. We've got some working in Italy, some working in Belgium, some in Germany. They're spread across Europe. But you know what? Their output is amazing. And these are people that have worked really hard for us over the years, and they're working just as hard at home. And we have to think about them because as couple of our speakers already said, people are scared and they're unsure, and we just need to calm them and reassure them. So where do we start? We're going to start with a critical path, and that's where we create a runway for the reopening of our business. The best way I could explain it to the whole team was that this is about a reopening. And for those that haven't done an opening, now's our chance. Everybody is going to be part of an opening. It allows us to iron out past glitches. Maybe there's been pinch points, maybe there's been points of service that we didn't like. This is a fantastic opportunity to get things right second time around. Gives us chance for repairs, it gives us chance for marketing, and this is going to be key. We already see, I've joined in so many webinars thus far, there's an emotional tie to great brands. Brands that are trusted, people will come back to that brand. So we need to make sure all our focus on our marketing is about how good we were, the changes we've made. We've even done a survey on Facebook to ask our guests what they liked, what they didn't like, what they would like to see more of. And we're engaging with the community. Next is leadership, and that's critical. It's interesting, when we're young, we forever take risks, and for some reason, as we get older, we become risk averse. So I'd urge everyone to become more entrepreneurial. We're going to have to be agile, flexible. We can work with sustainability, integrity, and flexibility. This one's not about winning a battle, it's about winning the war. I think uppermost for our team at Galvin's is communicating with all of our staff. So we have regular Zoom meetings. There's some incredible skills that we didn't know people could do, from gardening to juggling to singing. And I think we've got some better cooks from front of house than we have in the kitchen. Next, we need to look at our business. Is it safe? And then we go back to trust here. Is it safe for customers? Is it safe for staff? Service, wine service. One of my bugbears is wine service being too formal. Now we need to approach a table less. So let's just get the wine on the table and let the customers pour it. I love being in charge of my wine, by the way. I like to pour it when I want to. Finally, we're looking at concepts. Already now we're going into the restaurants, we're removing tables and seeing what it looks like at 50% of business. And actually the rooms are looking quite good. So we're taking storage already, so we can store lots of our chairs and tables. Maybe one day, in a year or so, we can bring them back. But I quite like the way the restaurants are looking with more space around them. Affordable glamour. That's something we've thought about. People are not going to have so much money in the next year or two. So we're going to have to look at making things more affordable. At the same time, we're going to be loaded with costs to make sure our restaurants are safe and hygienic. Already I've got 10 companies chasing me to offer perspex shields, sanitizing stations, infrared thermometers for guests when they walk in, and masks. And it's just going to load us up with costs. So we just need to see how we're going to work this. Something that's really in vogue and working well in London right now is deliveries. People are taking their deliveries seriously, and I think there's going to be a percentage of people that decide to stay at home with a restaurant delivery. So for years, great fine dining restaurants of France have always had a bistro. So maybe use a duck breast in the fine dining restaurant, and they'll use a duck leg for a confit in the bistro. So why not create a delivery service from your restaurant where you can sell traiteur? I'll wind up now, and I've just got in the back of my mind, if a vaccine is ever created, all of the above doesn't matter. But it's been a great exercise in seeing how hospitality can be flexible, how we work together and work as that community. As a very special friend of mine said, no prayers go unanswered. Thanks for having me on today. Have a great day. And as Ron said, and Sanjeev, we need to retain that great positivity. Have a great day, guys.
Thank you so much, Chef Chris Galvin. It was absolute pleasure to listen to you this evening. And before we proceed to the next speaker, we've opened the chat box, ladies and gentlemen. In case you have any questions that you'd like to ask to any of the speakers, feel free to put in your questions. And if time permits, we'll be happy to take it. Moving over to the next speaker, Gary Maclean, National Chef of Scotland. Teaches at the City of Glasgow College currently. He was a part of MasterChef, the Professionals 2016, and went on to win the season 9. Welcoming Gary Maclean. Gary, over to you.
Hi there, how are you? Amazing to be here, and it's lovely to see everyone. Thanks to IIHM for hosting. It's heartwarming to think that we're all in it together. It's quite unique. So during this crazy time, we've seen our industry fundamentally decimated. There's no other word for it. 80% of chefs in Scotland are currently unemployed. Every restaurant and hotel is closed, and the industry, I would think, is at its lowest point that it's ever been in history. But strangely, I'm not filled with dread or dismay. All I'm getting is pride in our industry and how we're standing strong. Every minute of the day on social media, we see the industry coming together. We see suppliers delivering hundreds of care packages into the people that need it. Chefs sharing hints and tips constantly. Hospitality workers volunteering on the front lines and providing people for what they really need. Our students, brand new students halfway through courses, are out there volunteering, helping the country to move forward. The other thing that I like, and which is really heartwarming, is watching the exploits of our Global Connect or YCO Global Connect mentors. You know, and every couple of minutes, you see somebody out there is doing something amazing for someone. You know, and a lot of these people I'm talking about, a lot of these things that we see online, the people that are doing it are at their lowest point in lives. They don't know how they're going to pay their mortgage. They don't know how they're going to look after the family, but as an industry, we're giving more than we're taking. The other big thing that's quite, which I think is completely amazing, and this is my national chef hat on, in Scotland, we have a real problem with health and diet, and people are actually cooking. And I've always said that to change our nation's food habits, it's going to be generational. We've accomplished in 4 weeks what I think was going to take us 40 years. People are understanding that they do have to cook. They do have to understand what they're putting in their body is important. They've got food is now at the forefront of people's lives, you know, and I think the long-term effects of the few months of pain and suffering being locked in, I think the effects of that are going to be generational. They're going to help us for decades to come. So us as hospitality workers, you know, we've got that reputation of, I'll use a Scottish vernacular, we're grafters, almost obsessed workaholics, and we can't sit down. So, you know, I think that's why a lot of people are up and working and just trying to do something. You know, I'm locked in with 5 kids, so I need to make sure I find things to do. For me personally, it's been a time to sort of use food to bring people together. You know, and like a lot of chefs out there and a lot of the mentors that are online, I've been producing kind of lockdown recipes, and so far it's kind of touched about 200,000 people. I've been working a lot on national campaigns to help people cook at home, work with kids, using up their store cupboards. And I've also ventured into something I've never done before. I've been live streaming cookery demonstrations from my house, and these have been going all over the world, from, you know, USA to Canada, Australia, pretty much everywhere. But from this, I feel going forward, people will appreciate who we are and what we've done. And I think the way we're conducting ourselves right at this minute can change our industry forever for the positive. And I just want to finish up. I've got a quote that I normally give to students or young people that are maybe trying to make that next step. And it's a few lines of a quote that has driven me for about 20 years. It's been on my office wall, And some of you might have heard it before, but the quote is as follows, and I wish it was mine. Excellence is a result of caring more than other people think is wise, risking more than others think is safe, dreaming more than others think is practical, and expecting more than others think is possible. And I think that quote now is a lot more bearing now than ever. So guys, thanks for having us. And again, it's lovely to see everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary, for sharing your thoughts. And moving forward for the announcement of Hall of Fame award, I'd like to bring in Dr. Suborno Bose, CEO IHC, to kindly come in and do the honors and announcement. Over to you, Dr. Bose.
That was excellent, Gary. Since David Foskett somehow is struggling with the internet line, I'm very honored and pleased to announce, as you have seen in the video, that the International Hospitality Council's Hall of Fame inductee 2020 goes to Chef Raymond Blanc. We have with us Mike Breatherith, and our friend Mike. Raymond have a problem with the internet, but we have got Mike, and so many congratulations, Chef Raymond Blanc, for being inducted in the Hall of Fame of the International Hospitality Council in the year 2020. And on behalf of all of the member trustees of the International Hospitality Council, many congratulations and best wishes.
I'm very obviously honored and thankful, okay, for the award. All what I've done all my life, like the thousands of us have done, is to give to our hospitality a good name, strength, pattern knowledge, make your guests happy, create a beautiful environment, okay, and give a beautiful name to our industry. That's all what I've done. So I am very grateful that you have chosen me for this extraordinary, very special award. I'm very well aware.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, and look forward to see you soon once we can allow to travel overseas.
Well, that would be nice to celebrate that at the manoir. With Mr. Chhatwal and a few friends. That would be really lovely.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, and congratulations once again on behalf of all of us.
Thank you, sir. Sorry I couldn't be with you in a proper way. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mike, for your kind assistance.
Okay. Raymond, thanks so much. I'll catch up with you soon.
Abdullah.
Yes, all right, ladies and gentlemen, moving over to the Q&A session now. We've got the first question coming in for Chef Gary Maclean. Gary, you're the hot favorite here. Question coming in for you from Chef Cock, and he asks, how do you think that chefs will have to work closely to the supply chain in the days to come to ensure safe catering, especially for bulk catering? There you go, Gary.
Well, I think at the minute, the majority of the suppliers are now supplying households, care homes and hospitals. There is no restaurants open at all in Scotland. I think speaking to suppliers, I think the whole model of how people are going to operate, i.e. the supply chain, is going to be completely different. I think the general public are now aware of our amazing suppliers, so they will be nipping in and using them as well. So I think a lot of big companies, even the small companies, are going to change their model ever so slightly, because once that market started, I think it will continue. And if we're looking at a 40 or 50% reduction in restaurant sales once we do reopen, these suppliers will be backed up by general public. So I think this has changed everything. I really do.
Thank you, Gary, for answering this question. We've got another question coming in from Mohammed Shoaib, AVP, the Pride Plaza Aerocity, and his question is to Mr. Puneet Chhatwal, MD and CEO of Taj Hotels, and his question is, what is the biggest learning for hospitality professionals during this COVID-19 pandemic, and what are the opportunities in front of us in future? This is for Mr. Puneet Chhatwal. Let me check if he's still there.
Mr. Chhatwal has just now left, just now.
All right. So possibly, Dr. Bose, why don't you, pick up this question, and then we will, if Professor Foskett is there, we'll give it to him as well. But you take this question and answer, please.
So can you just repeat it, please, Abdullah?
Absolutely. Dr. Bose, the question is, what is one of the biggest learning for hospitality professionals during COVID-19 pandemic, and what are the opportunities in front of us in future?
I think the
Abdullah, I'm on the iPhone.
Oh, okay, David is back. Okay, great, David.
There you go, Professor
David. Okay, David, fantastic.
Okay, so what was the question?
Okay, the question, Professor Foskett, was the biggest learning for hospitality professionals during the COVID-19 pandemic, and what are the opportunities in front of us in future?
Well, can I just say, let's just do two big learning curves. Yeah. Firstly, the learning curve that politicians have got to learn. The politicians have to realize who are the key workers, who keeps the country moving, who provides the skills. The food chain is so essential, as well as the health professionals. And I think after this, there has to be a reset on the education and the value of skills and skills education across the world to underpin economies. I think it's absolutely crucial, and this is a learning curve for politicians. Yeah, we've got to stop this academic divide once and for all about vocational education, skills education, and academia. We have to stop that, because at the moment, the country is kept going by the so-called people who have low skills. What is a low skill? It's nonsense. There are different skills. So there has to be a real educational reset after this. And the politicians have got to realize who are the key workers, and also who underpins the economy in terms of skills. Hospitality is a major earner of taxation. You know, as I always say, hospitality helps build the roads, the schools, the hospitals, major earner in taxation. And what we have to learn in hospitality, we have to be far more vocal than what we are. We have to be far more representative than what we are. And we are strong together. And we cannot have such a fragmented, in the UK, we have a very fragmented hospitality industry. We have to come together, like the countries come together, and we have to really state our ground of where we are as a professional, recognized industry that underpins the economy, and have a much bigger say. And us as professionals and hospitality people, we know that we are stronger together. And that's the big lesson to be learned. We are stronger together, and no more divide. And as a global industry, what we've learned from this, and what we learned from the International Hospitality Council and here this afternoon, is that we are a global industry. Yeah, and we are a very powerful force in terms of underpinning economies. And that's the big lesson to be learned. And there has to be governments around the world, and politicians have to realize this.
That's lovely, Professor Foskett. Thank you so much. I'm just loving moderating with questions flying over from all over the world. We've got one question from Malaysia. Chef Farouk asks a question, and that question is for you, Professor Foskett, all the way to London via India, moderating in between. So the question is that, in your opinion, could e-content learning replace or be taken as similar capacity as F2F learning in our skill-based learning experience? Over to you, Professor Foskett.
Say that again, Abdullah, very slowly, sorry.
Could e-content learning replace or be taken as similar capacity as F2F learning in a skill-based learning experience?
Well, first of all, I think what we've learned in education is the powerful force of e-learning. And what we have to realize is, and I've said this time and time again, the younger generation learn differently. Their attention span is very different. The old style classroom has gone. It's dead in the water. We have to look at new ways of teaching and learning and using e-learning, but e-learning as part of blended learning. You cannot replace the one-to-one conversation in seminars, which are important. You can do it by Zoom, no problem, but also you cannot replace the skills-based learning. You have to have laboratories. You can't do lab work, e-learning lab work. You can learn the underlying theory, but you've still got people to teach people in a practical situation, because there's so much that goes on in a practical environment, which is so important that you can't learn from e-learning. And also, students learn from one another. The most powerful force is when you get a group of students together and they learn from one another. Like this afternoon, we are learning from one another. We are all teachers. We are learners. We cannot just be remote learners. E-learning is something that will underpin the theoretical, but you cannot take away the human spirit, the social gatherings. People need people. They need to be interactive with people. They learn from one another. We all learn. We're all teachers. We're all learners. And e-learning is just another tool, another resource that we can use. Yes, it will be different. But, you know, I attended a classroom in Lithuania, in a university in Lithuania, where the teacher was in the center of a round and the students were on beanbags and they were all interactive with their iPads. Yeah. And this was a different way. It was a more comfortable way of learning. It's the way young people learn. And also young people are multi-skilled. They could do several things at once. They can type, they can do a PowerPoint presentation, listen to music. They can do so many things. They're very different learners. And we are learning in many cases from them, how they want to be taught. Remember, you know, someone as old as me is a digital immigrant. They're natives. You know, when we set up YouTube to do the lectures for IIHM, I had to call my daughter in to set it all up. Yeah, and because these youngsters are natives, it's second nature to them. Yeah, and that's what we have to learn. But e-learning is something which is another tool. It can't replace. You can't have a totally robotic kitchen as such. You can have a robotic plant, but can you have a total robotic restaurant? But it's not a restaurant, an social experience, a meal experience, and you can't get that purely by e-learning. I hope that's answered the question.
Oh, yes, thank you so much, Professor Foskett. There's one more question, and this is the last question that we are taking for the day, looking at the time that we have. This question comes from Sushma Roy from IIHM Jaipur, is for Mr. Puneet Chhatwal. However, he has left, so I'll ask and request Dr. Bose to kindly answer this question. And what she writes is, what essential services in the hotels would be redundant in the post-COVID era? For example, buffet services, minibar, any other thing that you feel in the hotel will or might become redundant. Dr. Bose, over to you.
Yeah, glad to be back, Abdul. Thank you. I think we need to wait and see instead of predicting now, because there would be certain areas which would become redundant and certain innovation would add in. Now, what will become redundant will also depend from country to country and also from diversity to diversity. definitely examples of buffet is a good example. Maybe a lot of people will like to have a room service breakfast instead of crowding in a buffet, or maybe the banqueting with large marriage gathering like we see in India, what Andy does, the big fat India wedding, 2,000 people, etc. Maybe those things will be much less in India. It will become from 2,000 to maybe 200 or 300 and maybe spread over. What I really believe, honestly, is that we really need to wait for more time, maybe another 12 to 18 weeks, and to see how and where we are going and where we can actually still deliver and where we still absolutely cannot deliver. We are in a kind of a situation which is very fluid now. So I think we need to wait and see, to be honest.
Abdullah, could I just jump in very quickly on this one?
Absolutely, absolutely, Ron.
I think it's quite right. What Suborno said is that at the moment in time, it's too early. I think the key to it is this whole question of social distancing, because social distancing is impacting on every single type of reaction which is involving people. And of course, that is our industry, is people. I thought Chris's comment, he's already been back interesting, because it's fine to see what the restaurant would look like with 50% of the tables and chairs removed. I think that is typical of what all businesses should be doing as part of the planning stage, because social distancing is not going to go away, not for a long time. But we hope that we'll have our businesses opening up again. How do we handle social distancing? So in a restaurant, we can take 50% of the chairs and tables out perhaps. But how can you manage social distancing in a public bar? That's much more difficult. Lots of people like to stand, not to sit down at the table. We talked about, there's another question there about the service and removing maybe buffet service. It may be that we may be moving back towards much more table service for a period of time, which then may bring us back into Chris's point about we have to rethink our product. How do we produce? What do we serve? Smaller menus, perhaps smaller wine lists, which enables service to be a wee bit quicker, but which allows us to do that. And one final bit was that I joined into a webinar yesterday organized by the Institute of Hospitality. And it's very interesting listening to the general manager for the Royal Lancaster Hotel in London. And she was talking about steps that they've already done to minimize this situation of social distancing. They have already planned and been established contactless check-in points in reception for guests arriving. But the one area that I'm particularly interested in is how they handle on the room side, because I don't think that for a period of time you'll be able to have a room vacated by somebody, and normally the room attendants would move in, clean that room, and have it ready within a matter of hours for the next people to come back in. I don't think that that is going to be feasible in the short term. We may have to look at hotels only opening up 30 or 40% of the rooms at a time, because these rooms are going to have to require a much deeper and much more thorough cleaning after people have vacated it. So there's things like this that are going to take time as we begin to see what we're allowed to do, what we're able to do to protect our customers and protect our staff. So it's just these things, but we need to start, as Chris has been indicating, planning and thinking about these things now and being ready to implement them when that time comes that we can begin to reopen.
Can I come in there, please, Abdullah?
Sure, Professor Foskett, please.
Yeah. First of all, I apologise for being offline. That the internet in this area is very bad this afternoon. So I'm back on now on the iPhone. I've been approached by a number of restaurateurs who have asked me, and I don't have the answers, about opening up. And basically, they looked at having half the tables they've currently got. But of course, that affects revenue. But as I said to them, you've got to extend lunch. Lunch can't be 12 to 2. You've got to turn the tables over several times. So you would take lunch from 12 to 4 or 5 o'clock. So I think all day dining is the way to increase your revenue. If you're not used to all day dining, if you've only got half the number of tables. And secondly, which I think is very important, the epidemiologists and the biologists that I've listened to over the last few weeks have all said the same, that hand washing is absolutely crucial. Now, we in the hospitality industry know how important hand washing is, but many people don't realize. And when they come into a restaurant, they're contaminated and they don't wash their hands. I strongly believe that a way forward is sanitized restaurants. And what I mean by that is that when you come straight into a restaurant, you don't go to the bathroom to wash your hands, but you have hand sanitizer available, like they do before you go into a ward. If I go into a restaurant in future, or a snack bar, or a sandwich bar, I want to be able to sanitize my hands if I haven't got hand sanitizer with me. That's crucial. But also, I want to see that the tables are being sanitized, that the actual environment is being sanitized, like they do on an aeroplane. And I think that that is going to be absolutely crucial. And I think you've got to tell customers in future about your sanitizing policy. You've got to say how the restaurant is being sanitized. And I think that's absolutely crucial in future. And I've listened to epidemiologists, I've listened to biologists, and they have said that that is hand washing is absolutely crucial, because many people don't wash their hands as frequently as they should do. And I know that a company is seriously looking into sanitizers as they go into a restaurant, or even as you come into a hotel reception, you've come off a plane or you've come off a long distance, you come and you can sanitize straight away. That's absolutely crucial. Thank you,
David.
Abdullah. Yeah.
Abdullah, can I come in quickly?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, David.
Peter.
Hi. Yeah, I think it's very interesting listening to everybody, and I think very valuable contributions to the whole discussion and debate, because we really don't know. But I would go with what Chris was saying a little earlier. I think the key to how the industry comes out of this is, how does the industry build confidence and trust, not only in its product, but in its service? And
Yes.
that's a relationship between two key variables. The first is safety. How safe is this environment for me to step into? How is my well-being and health going to be part of the business? So that's the first thing. And then obviously, then you've got to have the communication of how safe it is and why it's safe. So what you're trying to do all the time with this is actually to build confidence, consumer confidence, that going into that brand, into that operation, I know I'm going to be safe. Now, that's a huge task, but that's the only way I can see that we're actually going to achieve, if you like, that degree of resilience and those really sets of positive outcomes. I'm not saying we can't do it, we can do it, and I would be wanting to do it, but I think those are the key things. How do you get the message across to people that you're absolutely safe for them to step into, because you've socially distanced the tables, you've changed your operational styles, you're actually providing hand sanitizers, you're doing all of those things, but that only comes up to the one point about it. The other is the trust in the brand and the confidence in the brand. And again, I'd highlight something that Chris said. I'm a great believer in that is a part of the culture of the organization, its leadership and its brand values. They've got to shine through in terms of everything you do. If you just try and use marketing to promote the fact that you're safe, it won't work, because people will see through it very quickly. It's not about what you say, it's about the actions that you do.
Can I come in there, Peter, just very quickly? That's exactly what I was And that was exactly what I was alluding to. And you put it much more articulately than I did. But it is about trust. You see, people shop in certain shops because they trust. For example, food safety. A lot of people shop in Marks and Spencer's because they know that they've got very rigid food safety policy. And I think that's what we have to do in hospitality. And you're quite right, it's about the brand. You've got to almost regenerate the brand.
Yeah, I agree. You've got to regenerate the brand values. And,
Yes.
and I think Chris was right as well. It's almost you're pressing the reset button because it gives you a fantastic opportunity to start thinking through the whole of those processes all over again.
Yeah.
Because you've got to. You know, the situation has forced you to change. So you've got to rethink those processes.
All right, super. Well, that's what moderating is all about. Becomes difficult. Okay, so I'm going to take one last question coming in from John Crocket. John wants to add on a point, and John, why don't you say quickly, and then we will move over to the next section of our conference. Over to you.
That's great. Good afternoon, everybody, all the IIHM family. Thank you very much for inviting me in. I'd just like to reiterate what David said. Is my colleague of mine is the in charge of all the bacteria control in Morrison Hospital. And I think it's very important that not only we have these sanitizing stations, but obviously people wash their hands prior to sanitizing, because sanitizing does not clean your hands alone. And I think we've got a message going out with our students before we finished in Cardiff. You can see the students just using the hand gel and not actually washing their hands, but they were putting themselves more at risk because the gel only works on clean hands. And I think that's the message we got to get out there for everybody, not just for the youngsters. She's in charge of infection control. We must regularly wash our hands to remove any bacteria, then use the alcohol, and then proceed with our tasks.
Super. Thank you so much, John, for making those comments and sharing that. Now, this brings us to the end of the first section of our conference. Moving over to the second section, ladies and gentlemen, we will be now moving over to the informal bit where we're going to share each other the YCO passion, and I'm going to call out the names one by one. And since there's so many speakers, what we're going to do is everybody who I call out will get 2 minutes precisely to talk, and there will be a slight tinkering sound in the end, a bell that will be an indication for you that your time's up. Unfortunately, we'll have to do that because time's running short and there are a lot of speakers. So quickly starting over with all the judges. I'm aware that Antel Edelman and Ms. Kulsum Hussain could not join, so we are straight over going to Chef Stephen Carter. 2 minutes, Chef Carter, start now. Over to you.
Oh, first of all, happy Hospitality Day, everybody. We're such a great family. I really sort of agree with what Chris was saying about rethinking and resetting. You know, we've all worked too hard for too long, and we've set a standard for too long that would have taken years, and we've got an opportunity now to move things how we really want to. We've got to look at the way we treat our hospitality colleagues, our staff. We've got to rethink the way we do things. Even in private members clubs, which we are, mostly the people that we supply in our club are an older generation. Are they going to come back to the club? We've got to make it safe for them. We've got to really think about how we're going to do this, and we've got the opportunity to. And it's quite exciting times if you really look at it in some ways, because we've got a blank canvas and we can start this all again. So thank you anyway.
Thank you so much, Chef Carter. And I'm aware Chef Andre Muller is not there, so going over to Chef Oliveri.
Hello to everybody. Nice to see
Enzo.
you.
Enzo, hi.
Oh, I'm glad to hear all your voice and see some of your faces, and I'm glad to be here. I hope that soon we can be in India all day again, that this nightmare is over and we all enjoy our company and our friendship. Just one thing I want to say about the meeting before is if the customer are going to be prepared to pay more to get less of experience in restaurants. And that's the big question that I do to myself every day. And I haven't got the answer for it. Let's hope that soon they will realize that to get less, they have to pay more because, of course, in restaurants, the margins, they are very tight and it's not going to be easy for a lot of us. But anyway, we are healthy. Good, thank God that we're here and we are sharing all the good things that we have to share, all our expertise. We are all together, and it's a big strength for all of us. And I'm so glad to be with you and a friend of yours.
Thank you, Chef Oliveri. We love you.
Oh, thank you.
All right, moving over to Chef Andy Verma. Chef Andy.
Hi everyone. YCO, IIHM family. It's so lovely to all regroup and seriously discuss these issues which affect all of us, and it's affecting us hard. As Dr. Bose had mentioned to us, you know, the events industry will be shut down for quite some time. And actually in India, they had a Zoom wedding on Zoom. So basically, it is morphing and very, very tough times. I wanted to actually talk to you, and all of us should literally ponder on this, is how do we then manage expenses which are like fixed expenses? And how does the insurance industry help us? So basically, the first one is you know, paying your landlord, and the premises lease expense is the most important one. And I think we need to start thinking about how we can renegotiate with the landlords to say that, look, you can become a partner, or you can become, so when we make money, we give you money. But if we like are closed by the government and it's a proper lockdown or shutdown, I know temporarily the government is saying that they won't, you know, evict, etc. But it is a very important point where you've spent so much money on your premises, and hostile landlords can seize this opportunity to evict you. So I think on a war footing, we should all band together and then have this conversation of how our relationship in the future post-COVID lockdown will work. Similarly, in insurance companies, they'll skin you alive, they'll take everything, but when it comes to payouts, zero. So what I suggest is, there again, we need to talk about pandemics and not to have really crazy you know, premiums by the insurance companies, and they should help us. They, you know, this is something that I had, these 2 points that I wanted to make.
All right, great. Thank you, Chef Andy. I think Mr. Ron Scott, our General Secretary, is very good in negotiating. So I think, Ron, I'll request you to write down this question. Possibly we can deliberate it in one of our meetings about renegotiating with the landlords. You're very good in negotiating, so I'll give this work to you, and we will definitely connect on this. Moving over to Dr. Zenobia is not there, so we'll go to our favorite handsome hunk, Chef John Wood. Over to you, Chef John.
Hi, hi everyone. Never been called a handsome hunk. You threw me there. Happy Hospitality Day, and hello to everyone. And it's very sad to see you just on my screen. I can't wait to see you all again in person. We've had a very interesting time over the last, I say, 3 weeks. I spoke with 50 plus hospitality restaurateurs, pub operators, caterers, just getting their feedback and listening to what people are doing. And generally the consensus is, you know, now is an opportunity to get smarter, slicker, quicker, more efficient. And where you didn't have those sort of times before in your operations to do that, now is the opportunity when you have this time is to be better and be stronger. And, you know, as Chris mentioned as well, maybe even reinvent yourself into something else that, you know, is going to be beneficial in the future. And it's about considering other options and revenue opportunities, and whether that be takeaway or deliveries or creating a shop within your business or whatever it was. And I was speaking to Cyrus Todiwala the other day, with a famous Indian chef, and he's looking at expanding his range of spices and sauces and growing his online presence as well. So it's about not just grabbing the duvet and watching Netflix. It's about being, getting on, pushing and driving and looking at different ways that you can be creative in your business, and you come back better. And if there is a cure to this, then this sort of slightly becomes irrelevant, but it is going to be something that's going to be, with us at least for another 6 to 8, maybe possibly 12 months.
Super. Thank you, Chef John. It was very nice sharing your thoughts. Moving over to Chef Brian Turner. Chef Brian.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's nice to be able to talk to you. Mine thoughts are really quite simple. There are a lot of you out there who are restaurateurs, and I'm no longer a restaurateur, having been one for many years. I think the thing that we should concentrate on is teaching our young people about food at home and how to eat round the table as good families should do. I then think we need, as a professional bodies, the Royal Academy of Culinary Arts already has a scheme. We should go into schools voluntarily. We should teach the children to cook. We should make the children appreciate good food. We should then look after our apprenticeships and make sure that the training that we're putting into place for the future is going to benefit us all. And the future, of course, are our young peoples, as we have in our colleges and your universities out there. We must make sure that we are teaching the right ethics straight away. It's not all about business. We must be business-like to survive, but it is about getting people who become customers of the future, who will understand what food's all about and be able to help us as the restaurant business starts to grow again, as it surely will. That's all I need to say. Thank you very much.
Well, that's lovely. Thank you so much, Chef, and it was lovely to listen to you. Moving over to Chef Gary Hunter. Chef Gary.
Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you can hear me. We're expecting social distancing to continue for quite some time, probably not until a vaccine is available. And our businesses are preparing for the decreased capacity, such as what we heard from Chris. And we have that as a result of social distancing. We need to think about social distancing within the kitchen, well, within the workplace. There's also the issue which will affect everyone, and that's how to get people into places such as central London on public transport. And when they arrive, how will they move around the area with this tightly grained streets, narrow pavements, etc.? How do we encourage footfall and visits to businesses? And this will be key sector.
Hello?
Can you still hear me?
Okay, that was Chef Gary Hunter talking. Chef Stephen Hogan is not here. Moving over to Chef Stuart Littlejohn.
There we go. Hello. Hello, hello. Can you hear me? Good afternoon, everybody.
Hey, Stu.
Hey? Can you hear me?
Good afternoon.
Ah, good. Right. Well, it's good to see lots of COVID-19 beards and haircuts. It's good to see we're all struggling in that department. For me, I agree with Steve Carter. We've got to get a brand confidence back within the clubs. A lot of our members are of an age that they are susceptible to this. So for me, I feel we need to look very closely at how we gain confidence. I like the idea of the sanitising policy. We had one at the club before we closed, so I feel that we will participate and carry on with that and make that available to the membership. But on the positive side, as Chris was saying about rebranding and rethinking, I was talking to one of my suppliers before we shut on the 20th of March, and they were concerned they're losing 95% of their business overnight. And we had a good chat, and we were talking about furloughing and laying off. But she came up with the idea to help the supermarkets with their bread production. She opened up to the public, and she got a good response from the local area, people buying her bread every day. And it's got to the point now that she's
doing so well. She's thinking of doing master classes on site, putting a mezzanine in to do bread classes and everything else. And she's actually considering not serving us in London anymore, but I did say that she had to. So on a positive side, there's always some good comes from a tragedy. And I think we all need to look at that and say to ourselves, you know, yes, it is, we don't know when we're going back, but the positives are that we will rebound because we are resilient in what we do. And I agree with everything everybody's been talking about, and it's given me a lot of food for thought. And, you know, bring it on. Let's get back and make the changes and make our industry more appealing and more attractive to the younger people of this world, and boost our ranks so we can carry on and move forward. And that's it.
Super. Thank you, Chef Stuart, for sharing. And I do see, you know, I keep looking at your pictures, lovely gardening pictures that you keep putting on the Facebook. These days, you're busy gardening, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Painting. I'm good at painting now.
All right. Looking forward for the picture on the Facebook. Moving over, Paul Jervis. Paul, come on in.
Good afternoon. Welcome to everyone. Yeah, certainly this has been a huge challenge to all of us. It's been difficult to work with our students who have now moved to remote learning. And I've always sold the course on the premise that the hospitality industry is always going to provide us with jobs, that there's always a need for chefs, and all of a sudden this rug's kind of been pulled from under our feet in a sense. But having said that, I do recognise that the hospitality industry is incredibly strong, and it's also really it's really wise, and it will adapt very strongly to new techniques, to new ideas, and we will see in a sense the models have been broken, and we're going to see new people who emerge from this, and we're going to see new businesses develop, and there is certainly opportunities to come from that. From a learning point of view, it's been a big journey for us as well, and there's lots that we've learned, and the e-learning thing has been a huge success in some areas, but obviously practical lessons can't be fully replaced. Having said that, there's been this coming together with our alumni students who have been doing Q&As with our current students, and it's felt very family orientated in that. So it's been exciting in one sense, but it's difficult in the other. But what we really need now is some kind of guidance as to how we're going to complete the year for the students this year. But it's a very mixed bag, and there's certain aspects which I found really exciting, and other things which obviously are very frustrating.
All right, thank you, Paul, for your comments and views. And moving over, Chef David Russell is not here, so we'll move over to Chef Peter Jones. Chef Peter, you there?
Yeah, sorry, I just pressed the wrong button. I muted myself instead of unmuting. Yeah, it's quite typical of me, but anyway. Yeah, no, I really, well, just thanks very much for everything that in terms of organising this, because I think it's positive. Great, and others would say we're actually learning an awful lot as we go along. I think a quick two takeaways from me. One is a very practical thing, and I was very interested in Andy's comments about, well, property and property values and how do you deal with your landlords. I just take a view, actually, that you've got to be bloody hard-nosed with a landlord these days, because if you think about it, if you lose and you are evicted, they're not going to replace you with anybody. So there's actually nobody there to replace you with. It's not as if there's a huge resurgent demand for commercial property. So I think collectively, all restaurateurs, hoteliers, anybody has actually got to really work very, very hard with completely new business models with their landlord. I think the existing business model just won't carry forward because there will be no opportunity for it to. So I think that in a way also creates an opportunity for us to come up with a different partnership model, some sort of bespoke model where you've got some sort of profit share, where actually all the parties are going to benefit. on the question of insurance, just to give you some insights into that, I did one of these sessions last week with a Swiss company, which is one of the largest world's insurers. They wanted a tourism and hospitality perspective. And it became clear from those discussions that one, pandemic insurance is going to be incredibly expensive if anybody wants to ever take it out. The second thing that came about, which I thought was interesting, is that they felt all commercial, not necessarily commercial insurances, but travel related insurances were now going to become more expensive as well. And that they felt would actually have an impact on corporate travel. So not only would there be other constraints on corporate travel, that insurance is likely to be one which is going to have some impact as well. And I don't think you can look to insurers to bail you out at all, I'm afraid. I think they don't actually understand what the scale of the risk is that they're trying to deal with at the moment. And because everybody will want to insure for certain things, I think they're beginning to say, we think that's going to be uninsurable, and it will always be an uninsurable risk. Rather practical, technical things, but I hope they've contributed to people's general understanding. But thanks very much again for the whole sessions. It's been very useful.
Super. Thank you so much, Chef Peter, for those words of wisdom. And moving over, I can't find Abhijit Ghosh. Chef Ghosh, are you there? Chef Abhijit? Chef Abhijit, are you there? No? All right. So moving over to Chef Abhijit Saha. Chef Saha, over to you. Chef Saha, are you there? All right, Chef Kapoor has left. Chef Rahul Kekar could not join. Chef Bali, Chef Parvinder Bali, over to you.
Hi. Hello, everybody. It is absolutely great to connect with all of you. And, I really find if you want me to talk about COVID-19, I mean, probably we are all degree holders by now from the University of WhatsApp and social media about what's happening in the world. But I really think it's a boon in the disguise, because look at the positive sides of many things. I understand there are many things that are happening wrong, but on the contrary, I think there are a lot of things that are happening for good. If you see in India, in last 20 years, what pollution levels are today, that was 20 years ago. So it is such a bliss to see that. I don't think any of us chefs have ever got so much of time to spend with the family, to cook so much of home with your children, with your loved ones. I think many of us did not find this urge and the necessity and opportunity to go and help the society. I think each one of us is doing something in our own little ways. We are reaching out to the needy. We are reaching out to the poor. So I think overall, it's just being very compassionate. I have been doing a lot of online teaching to my students, and more ideas keep coming to my mind that, that another boon is that technology, a digital disruptor, which has come in amongst us, where I think, world has really shrunk. And I would just like to invite most of you chefs to, come on screen for 30 minutes and just give a talk to my students. And reciprocally, I can do the same thing if you want, me to talk to any of your students or staff. I think it's a mutual thing. We all can participate. We all can learn from each other. We can help each other. So thank you so much. And I just hope that we all stay safe and we stay home.
Thank you, Chef Bali. And we managed to locate Chef Abhijit Saha. Chef Saha, please come on in.
Hi.
Yes.
Hi, everybody. Can everybody see me and hear me?
Absolutely. Looking smart.
Good day. Thank you. Thank you so much. Good day and good evening, everyone. It's really wonderful to be a part of this initiative by International Hospitality Council and IIHM. Thank you very much for organizing this at such difficult times. And I think that technology is something that is helping us to do this. So I think there's a lot that has been said so far, and I completely appreciate and agree with almost all the speakers here about what precautions we need to take, what is the way forward, how we need to go about it. But the most important part is that we should look also that what has happened the dining scene that we see today has evolved over so many years. How we can quickly plan our ways of getting over this as soon as the crisis gets over, so that the customers can come back in, because it's not going to be very easy for us to bring them back in. But technology will play a very important role. And I think that, you know, while we are talking about negatives, I think that the positives, which Chef Bali just said, that the ability to spend more time at home, the ability to do for something for giving something to the country and to everybody all concerned. And also in India, what we found was that nature has started cleaning itself up. What we saw, what we hear about the river Ganges, almost all rivers, the pollution levels have come down. In Haridwar, the water has now become potable from the Ganges. Also, the Himalayas are visible from a long distance. So this is really, really wonderful. It has cleaned up the air, and nature has gone very, very quick in terms of cleaning the environment. And we should do ourselves, we should apply ourselves in the future now to make sure that the industry comes back with even better, and we can build better confidence with our customers. So wishing you all the best, and congratulations to Chef Raymond Blanc. We have learned a lot from him in our earlier years, and we are delighted that he has been awarded the Hall of Fame award for the 2020. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chef Saha. We've got Chef Ranveer Barar, and I believe he's just left the forum. So we'll proceed. We'll go to Mike Burton. Mike, where are you? The view outside his office window where he sits is lovely, trust me. The other day I was having a chat with him and he showed me the view. I fell in love with it. Just the right place for, you know, spending time and working from home. Mike, where are you? Are you there? Mike, are you there? Let me check if he's there. I can locate him.
Yeah.
Mike, hello. Yes, you're there. There you go.
There's the view.
Say, look at the beautiful view, guys. Thank you, Mike, for showing the lovely view.
That's okay. I'm self-isolated out here. First of all, thanks very much for getting this session on. As you can see, it was a little bit of a struggle for Chef Raymond Blanc to get his technical details working, but he is so pleased with the award. He is busier than hell at the moment because you know, and we've spoken about some of the things here. The insurance company has refused to cover the claim for loss of business because they say that the insurance was never designed to cover a pandemic of this scale. So, you know, this is going to be an issue throughout the world. The insurers, you know, they are like slippery eels in a bucket of washing up liquid. You just cannot grab hold of them. And I think there will be some class acts coming out of this, I'm certain. The other thing that has been mentioned is suppliers. And I think that it's critical that we hold on to those suppliers that have put their shoulder to the wheel throughout this. There's some great suppliers. There have also been some suppliers that have not risen to the occasion. And we know who they are, and the day of reckoning will come. I think from the training point of view for the young chefs, we have to do everything we can to keep them motivated. You know, we have offered over here to reach out to any member of staff that is struggling. I have a pub. I'm a part owner in the local pub. We have kept our manager, our bar manager, and our sous chef on, and we have furloughed only one person, and that is the lady in charge of the restaurant. But we stay we connect with her every week. We're doing takeaways, which have been mentioned. We're doing emergency boxes every day to the local villages, the butcher's box, the barbecue box, the fruit box. And we're going to recreate ourselves. We already have a plan. We have a very big garden. One sec.
Oh, I don't have it here, but we have sectioned it off, and I tell you what we're going to do, because we have to make it safe for our customers to come back. And we've redesigned the restaurant seating. We've taken about 40% of the seats out. We've redesigned the garden. We've given 9 square meters of garden, and we've managed to do about 35 sections like that. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to do, and David Foskett alluded to it earlier, longer lunches. We're going to do airline bookings. There isn't an app that we can use, but we will find one where you can book that section of the garden or that section of the restaurant for a 2-hour slot. It's yours. You will email us or text us the WhatsApp your order. You will not have to come into the pub. Whilst we've been speaking, I've been online and I've ordered 3 automatic sanitizers, so you don't even have to touch the sanitizers. And we will sell that 2-hour booking slot. It's yours. You do what you like with it, so long as you have a minimum spend. And these are the sorts of things that we're going to reinvent. I just sent a quick note to everybody. I think that there is a potential here for IIHM to moderate the ideas and suggestions that are coming through. Sustainability has to be top of the agenda, health and safety, and how do we take that hospitality welcome forward and backwards to our customers. Thank you.
Super. Thank you so much, Mike. And that was the end of the second sequence. Moving over to the third sequence now, where we bring in all the mentors. I have got the confirmed ones who have given the confirmation.
Abdullah, can I just come back to something Mike said?
Oh, yes, absolutely, Professor Foskett. Yeah. Over to you.
About the insurers. One company went to their insurers for loss of business, and they said to them, you're not covered for a pandemic. And they challenged them, said, well, but we're covered for a plague. And they said, what's the difference in a plague and a pandemic? And they couldn't answer. And the insurers, because they're covered for a plague, they're going to pay out. The insurance company is going to pay out. Not covered for a pandemic, but covered for a plague.
Professor Foskett, to add on, I was glad the insurance company did not say the plague is from rats and pandemic from the bats. All right, so with this, we move over to the third sequence. Thank you, Professor Foskett, for making that known to us. And so I've got some confirmed names from mentors who have joined in. We will quickly finish the names of mentors who've confirmed, and then we'll see who all are left, and then we will take them in as well. 2 minutes to each person. We are short on time, so please stick to your watches, and we can talk about YCO as well. We can talk about missing each other. We can talk about loving each other. We can talk about YCO 2021. Starting over with Suresh Chauhan from Bahrain. Chef Suresh, over to you. Are you there? Chef Suresh, are you there? Okay, moving over to Jahida Begum, Bangladesh. She was there, I could see her. Jahida Begum, are you there? Yes, I can see her. 1 second, I'll unmute you. 1 moment. There you go, Chef Jahida.
Yes, first I would like to say happy International Hospitality Day. And I would like to thank Mr. Bose and for inviting this kind of get together. We're happy with the YCO. So yes, definitely the whole industry, hospitality industry is facing the problem, corona problem. But what we can do, actually what we do, we have to do that, we have to work together, we have to put our hands together to know that a lot of people are now in panic. They are losing their job in the hospitality industry. So what can we do? We have to give the motivation. We have, this is the time that we have to think together. A world can think together about the hospitality industry. So we have to put our hands together, have to work together, so we can work together in that motivation. So thank you, everybody. Stay home and stay safe.
Thank you, Jai. The Begum, absolutely working together. We all are connected through the YCO platform. There's one family. Moving over to Magdala from France. Magdala, over to you. Magdala, you there? Magdala? Okay, moving over to Jordan, Christopher Topsy. Chris, are you there? You'll have to unmute yourself, Christopher. Christopher? Yes? Christopher Topsy from Jordan? Okay. Chef Farouk, are you there? Chef Farouk was there. He had confirmed that he's there. He did put a question as well. I believe he is not there now. Okay. Moving over to Anselin Peace from Nigeria. These were the confirmed names. Anselin, are you there? Okay, quickly moving over to Gary Maclean, Scotland. Gary, from the YCO point of view, any message? Young Chef Olympiad.
Yeah, it was just really to my fellow mentors, just keep safe, keep doing what you're doing, and keep posting on our WhatsApp group. It's nice to see.
Super. Thank you, Chef. Gary, Sureen from Sri Lanka. Serene from Sri Lanka. They confirmed they were there. For some reason, possibly, we can't find them anymore. All right, moving over. Sheila Ahabwe, Uganda. Sheila, are you there? From Uganda? Okay, Chef Reina from United States of America. Chef Reina, are you there?
Yeah. Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Over to you, Chef.
I wanted to say thank you for everybody. This has been an amazing event again. To me, this getting together with my friends and colleagues means the world to me. And I just want to wish everybody safety. And I have an idea for the next concept, perhaps for the next meeting, for next year. Maybe the theme as a suggestion could be reinventing hospitality, because a lot of these things that I heard today was really leading to a common need of what are we going to do? What's our next step? And so it was great to participate in this forum. I really love what you guys do. And I wish everybody wellness and safety, and God bless you.
Thank you, Chef Reina. And Mentor of Wales, John Crocket. Oggy, oggy, oggy.
Oggy, oggy.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, thank you very much. It's lovely to see all my IIHM family on this Hospitality Day. I think everybody's learned an amazing amount of knowledge. We've shared information, we share each other's pain. And obviously we're going to be bigger and stronger and bolder as an industry moving forward. And I'd just like to reiterate what everybody said. Be safe, stay home, and make sure, God bless you all. Oggy, oggy, oggy. And can't wait to see you all again soon. Thank you very much, IIHM, Dr. Bose, Foskett, and obviously Abdullah, you amazing guys. Fantastic initiative once again. Diolch yn fawr I ti gyd.
Oggy, oggy, oggy.
Oggy, oggy, oggy.
Oggy, oggy,
Oi, oi, oi.
Right, that was Chef John Crocket. Christopher Baston from England. Christopher.
Hi guys, you well? Can you hear me all right?
Hi Chris.
Yes, absolutely loud and clear.
Hi Chris.
Nice to see you all guys. It's been a long time, isn't it? And our hairstyles are a bit of a reflection at the moment. We're all locked down. We're all looking after each other at home, doing a lot of home cooking at the moment. Not brave enough to put it online yet, but perhaps in the future we'll put a couple of things on. Certainly looking forward to seeing all of you again in the future. But as I say, it's really nice to see your faces looking quite happy and chirpy. England is okay at the moment. We're okay. We're trying to protect ourselves and keep safe, and encouraging our children, obviously, with their online learning as well. That's been a bit of a challenge at home, but again, that's this challenge in to try us. As I said, guys, lovely to see you again, and take care of yourselves. Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you, Chef Christopher. Moving over to Shahrazan Zamruj from Malaysia. Shahrazan. Shahrazan.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. Shahrazan, Malaysia. So we have been having an extension of 2 weeks of lockdown again, but it's looking good so far. So I'm wishing everybody to stay safe, having good health. Yeah, like everybody saying that we are having online classes and everything. So this is one of the challenges, but let's take a look at it and in a positive way. So I hope everybody is looking at this positivity part of it, and stay safe, have a good health, and good luck with everything.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Chef. Moving over to Oda Yasin Kistu from Mauritius. From Mauritius, Menta, are you there? Okay, Frank Pasquawets, New Zealand. Frank from New Zealand. Okay, moving over to Alexandre Ferreira, Portugal.
Hello, how are you, my friends? Greetings from Portugal. It's good to see familiar faces now. And given the current situations, it's a huge energy to gain for the weekend now. I hope that everyone is in good health. I have one concern. I've talking with some friends here, chatting on WhatsApp, and some of us, we have some concern as to do with one issue related to e-learning training that now we all had to adapt in our daily life. So I would like to address an open question. We all know that students have different learning characteristics, different personalities, levels of life, with access often conditioned by the internet access. So how can we as teachers provide equal education to all students with this situation in mind? Thank you and keep safe all.
Thank you, Chef Alexandre. And moving over last but not the least, South Korea, Ben Hendrik Johnson.
Good morning, it is here now, everybody. Nice to see everybody again. Yeah, just to let you all know that, keep safe and wash your hands, as everybody says, sanitize, wear masks if you can get them. We've actually been quite fortunate here in that the government's been took the control of the selling of masks away from companies, and you're allowed to buy 2 masks a week, and it's helped a lot. But other than that, we've had online learning for the last 5 weeks, and it looks like we're scheduled to go back on the 6th of May to contact learning, which some people are happy about, others are not. Obviously, the concern is still there that there's going to be a flare-up. But it looks like it'll be teaching with masks, and we're not sure if we'll be tasting the food, but we'll see what happens. So yeah, everybody stay safe. And like someone said earlier, thanks for the WhatsApp. It's always nice to see that people are still cooking. And take care of yourselves. All the best, everybody.
Thank you, Chef Hendrik. And we managed to locate 2 more mentors. Jose Rui Torres from Spain. Jose, over to you.
send you a lot of strength and encouragement to overcome these difficult times for humanity and especially for the hospitality. We need to do our best and transmit a message of unity and solidarity around the future of hospitality. Especially Spain is being punished, and it will take a lot of time and effort to overcome this terrible crisis. Tourism and hospitality represents 25% of the economy. And unfortunately, I will take a long time to return to pre-crisis levels of the COVID. We need our help more than ever. Alone, it will not be possible. I hope you understanding and help why Spain is a great country and a world reference in hospitality. Thank you very much and encouragement, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Absolute pleasure to speak to all of you, connecting the whole world together, connecting the dots together. Young Chef Olympiad can only do this. Ladies and gentlemen, moving over to Bulgaria, Francisco Jose Lorenzo Castro. Come on in.
Hello, guys. Can you hear me?
Absolutely, yes.
Yes. Hello, thank you so much for the opportunity. You know, I am from Spain, but I am located in Bulgaria. The situation here is safe. All the restaurants are closed, universities, schools, everything is closed. The takeaway is really good, but I think that it's not enough because here, for example, we have a lot of restaurants. I think that basically everybody is thinking about the same, trying to looking for new solutions. I hope to see you soon. Thank you for the opportunity again, and see you next year in the Olympics. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Chef. And these were the confirmed names that we got. And in case I have missed out calling any other mentor whose name has not been called, please identify quickly. We are running out of time. So if you could just say hi and say a few words. In case someone's missed out, these were the confirmed list that we have. Who we missed?
Thank you very much.
Goodbye, all.
Hi, hello, can you hear me? Yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to call upon Dr. Bose.
Sorry, Abdullah, can I just jump in very briefly before we come to the closing point with Dr. Bose and Professor Foskett? Just two very quick points to everybody, and this is on behalf of IHC, is that we're very sorry that one of our great team has not been able to join us today, and that is Kulsum Hussain, who very sadly is still in hospital, but we believe is getting better day by day. And just on behalf of everybody, I hope that we can just pass on our very best wishes to Kulsum and hope that she'll soon be home and fighting fit again. So all the best, Kulsum. The other point is people have been commenting there about Young Chef Olympiad 2021. Just to let you know that we have begun planning for this. Dr. Bose, Professor Foskett, myself, and Abdullah have already had meetings and talking about things. So we are hoping to begin to bring forward sort of outline plans for 2021 to talk with the judges and the adjudicators as soon as we possibly can. We really do appreciate just how much the YCO means to all the countries, all the mentors, all the judges, and how important this is going to be. So we are working towards having the YCO on again next year. It might be put back into February, but this is these are things that we're looking at. So please keep that in your diary, that this is what we're planning on, and we'll bring forward news of it as soon as we possibly can. Thanks, Abdullah.
Okay, PJI has raised hand. I couldn't identify the person, but the short form says PJ. Raise hand.
Paul Jervis.
Hello.
Oh yeah, Paul.
Yeah. No, sorry, I had to switch onto my phone because my computer's died on it. So.
Yeah.
All right, you had raised the hand. You want to add a point before?
No, I was just clapping the what Ron said about Colson. So just sending wishes.
Oh yes, all of us are praying for Kulsum, and she'll be back soon. Over to Dr. Bose.
Yeah, so thank you, everybody. It was such a pleasure to see all of you as a big ISC YCO family, as you all say. So it's such a pleasure to support each one of us. And as Ron said, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what the next 6 months will hold for the world, but we always see YCO as the sunlight at the end of the tunnel. So we still assume that things will be fine. And maybe it will not be January, it may be February, it may be March, it may be April, we don't know. But definitely we hope for the best. And we hope that next year we will have the YCO, even if that means that in a little truncated form, but still we'll all like to come together and celebrate friendship and celebrate hospitality. So from all of us, thank you so much. Good luck and take care. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For his closing remarks. Professor Foskett.
David.
Well, I think, can I thank everybody for the amazing get-together, conference, webinar, call it what you like, amazing contributions from everybody. And this just shows the strength of the YCO, the strength of the culinary family and what we've got together, the International Hospitality Council. I think we've got a great future ahead. And I listened to all the debates on television about the COVID-19. And the positive side is that the scientists here, the great minds here in science, say they positively, there will be a vaccine. They're confident there will be a vaccine. Professor Gilbert from Oxford University, who has done this before several times, created a vaccine. She has started yesterday trials of the vaccine. So I think this is really positive. So I think that thank you all for participating. It's been absolutely wonderful. And I hope to see you all next year in incredible India. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Foskett.
Thank you so much, everybody, for joining in today on
Thank you,
Friday
Abdullah.
here at 9:30
Thank you, sir.
India time. Thank you so much for joining.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye, and thank you for logging
Bye.
in.
Bye.
Lovely weekend ahead. 3 cheers for YC. 3 cheers
Thank you,
for
sir.
IHC.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely lovely to see all of you
Thank
guys.
you all.
Bye-bye. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye. Everybody, Augie.
Thank you.
Augie.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Take care. Thank you. Enjoy your
so much.
weekend.
Bye.
Weekend, everybody. Take care. Love you all. Thank you for joining in. Absolute pleasure to connect to you from all across the world. Lovely to be here. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Take care.